Okay, now comes for the fun part, the assembly. You have your 2 ears, the 2 arms, your legs, and your head and your body piece. Excuse me. Now, I like to start getting the whole head together, so you can tell which one's which because your head's slightly smaller. I like to do the head piece first, and I didn't want mine very, stuffed hard, so they're kind of squishy. Excuse me. So I'm going to move these other pieces to the side, and I'm going to take my ears, okay, and the head piece to work on the head piece. Where you have the stuffing is the bottom, so we're going to go ahead and take our needle, thread it with the tail end, and we're going to close up the bottom of that space here in the head. So everyone has their own preferred method. I just like to go from one stitch to one side to the stitch to the other, and go back, and pull that. And you want to be careful because you kind of want to make sure it stays round, not oblong. And just go back and forth through the stitches until you get it closed down a little bit. Okay. Let me move some of these strings out of the way so it's less cluttered. So it will look like that. Then I just take a stitch on this end, weave it up and down, and go through the other side. So you can close your hole. Oh, that didn't sound good. You can close the bottom of your head piece how you like. And then I just usually stick it back through there so I come out at end. Or side, doesn't matter. Okay, so there's my head. Don't cut because you can either use this one or the one on your body to attach. So I'm going to take that off. So my head's ready. Then I do the same thing. I don't worry about this tail yet over here, but I take the long tail for my ear. And I want to take and attach the ears to a section of the head. And you can decide whether you want them up high, low, whatever. So I take the ear, its thing, and then I put my needle through the other corner, okay, and pull it so that it automatically folds. And you can have your ear open, you can fold it more so that it's now shut. I take my head and I usually go this second row, attach that with the thread down closest to there, and I just attach it through some section so I haven't cut it or anything. Then I come back up through the ear, and you want to try to be as inconspicuous with your stitches as possible, but the good thing about crochet is just pretty much all blends in if you use the same thread. So then I'll go through one of these slip stitches at the top, from one side to the other, and put it back in. And you can move your needle anywhere you need to. Right? And then I'll come back from the bottom side and attach it in this last corner over here. And pull kind of tight, but you don't want it extremely tight. Then you can see for your placement. If you don't like, I don't like this little bump that sits there, and I kind of want the ears to stay down. So I'm just going to go back through and go one stitch lower on the ear and attach it to the head so it lays flatter. Then I'll go back up through it and repeat the process until I have my ear placed and it lays the way I want. Okay. Then when I'm done, I'm going to lift it up, and I'm on the edge here, so I'll come back under and attach it Now somebody probably has some real fancy way that they do this, and it's systematic. Oh, I'm just going to do this. And it's systematic, but I'm kind of one of those people that you just work on what you have. So look and see where things are placed, what's working for you, what's not working for you, and fix it. Or, I guess there's nothing wrong with it, so do it the way you need to do it. So I want this attached a little more. And then I'm going to tie in a knot. So that I can cut this off. And I know, it's just that way because I pulled the needle off. Right there. And then so my stitching is all underneath. And then I can turn it whatever way I want. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the next ear and attach it. Alright, now that I have both ears attached, whoops, I have both ears attached, and you can play with them, sculpt them, put them up. You could even work in wire around the ears so that you can make them posable. I'm going to take the body piece now. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. Close it up a little, and then you can either use the body string or the head string. And since this string is longer, I'm going to use this one to attach it. So sew at the bottom of your, actually it would be the top of your body, like you did the head, and then we'll attach. Okay, so now that this is the string attached to the head, and we're going to do it attached to the body, I'm going to go ahead and put my thread through here, which is basically the top row of the body. And then kind of go back into that row here, and then move along that first row on the body, back and forth between the head and the neck. And I want to try to make sure my stitches are smaller, like that's longer than I want it. So attach your head. Oops. Go up under here and pull that up. And I kind of want to go under the head and attach it on that first row of the body underneath. Yes, there's a Christmas song playing on my radio. And you just keep going around until you have it the way you want it attached. Oh, that's too far down. I don't want it that far. And then you can kind of smush. So I'm going to keep going around and then come back. Okay. Now we have our squishy little bunny. Yay! So if you look, you're just going to sew him until you feel that he's secure. And then trim off your excess. Okay, next I'm going to pick up the little arm. I've threaded it. And if you look at both of your arms, you get one will tend to turn way or the other. So this one tends to go this way, and this one tends to go the other way. So you can figure out what you want. And I think I need to take out a little bit of stuffing on this one to make it match the other. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before, and I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. And like I said, some people will decrease again, but I think that makes it really hard to get the stuffing in and turn it because it's already really small. So just do that, close up the end a little bit, and then figure out where you're going to put your arm. Like my bunny is apparently going to have really big arms. So I'm going to put it on this side. It looks good. I'm just going to put it up in this area. Not quite at her neck, but pretty close. Well, I guess we'll put it up there. And I just start working wherever my thread is sticking out. So it's sticking out on that side. I'm going to turn it over because it doesn't make that much difference here. So I'm going to stick it there. It's coming out of this side, so that's the side I'm going to work on. Kind of center it on the side of the body. And do the same thing. I'm going to just go from the top. And I'm going to work in this general area. Just going to go in under a stitch and pull it up so I can see where it is. And have it basically secured. And you can assemble whichever order you want, but I like to work down for some reason. So I'm going to put her little arm right here, and I'm going to do the same process with the head. I'm going to go back and forth in there to weave it through the stitches at the top. Okay. So now our bunny is almost complete. We've done the ears, head to body, arms. I attached one leg already so that it would be done when we got finished. So you want to take your foot, your leg, and you will notice that if you kind of like push it from the bottom, one side sticks up higher than the other side. The part that sticks up higher is the front of the foot, and this part is the bottom. So when you attach it, you want to make sure that the ball sticking up is to the top like that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing I've done before and close up my stitch, and I'm not going to do a whole lot, just right through these. 1, 2, 3. I just like to do that because it just makes it easier for me to attach. And make sure you didn't overstuff, because if you overstuff, then your piece is going to look weird. Okay, so figure out where you want the feet and legs to be placed. I'm going to put mine about, so now he sits like that. So I'm going to turn it over and pretty much hold it down where I want it. And I'm going to begin. I pretty much have stayed into round 3 and 4 to get the feet and legs in. Oops. I want to go through the body, then up through the stitching for the leg. It's a lot like sewing, so if you sew, you know how to attach. And there's probably some fancy amigurumi way to do it, but I used to sew a lot, so building the pieces is like building a stuffed animal out of fabric for me. So once I got the pieces, then you just sew them in. Okay, so just sew them to the bottom so that when you're working, and check when you're working so that you can get it to do what you want it to do. And so if you push his little feet up, the big part's at the top. Look at my bunny, he's a little plump bunny, that's what he is. I keep calling it a he, maybe it's a she. I don't know yet. And you can do whatever kind of faces you want. I have a penchant against faces, and I don't know why. I have a hard time putting my faces on my character hats and so forth. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So I'm not going to do a tutorial on how to put your face on, but you could use felt. That stitch is bigger than I want, but you could use felt. You could do embroidered faces. You can do like me and just leave it. You could do a combination. You could get safety eyes. Pretty much anything you want to do in order to finish off your bunnies. Alright, and then I'm going to put a knot here. Check it, see what it looks like. Kind of squeeze it together. Knot. Okay, and I'm going to do some more attaching here just to get my, because I don't want the leg to come off. So I'm going to go back through And I want to put another stitch to hold it. And just make sure when you're working that you go through the leg and the body stitches. Otherwise you'll have a real flimsy piece coming apart. Alright, I'm going to put my last knot in. Bring it on down. I'm going to stick this through the body. And oh my gosh, it's pooping yarn. I know, I'm crazy. Cut it. Just make sure you don't cut any of your stitches. And you don't have to pull it through the bottom. I just do. I don't know why. It just seems to work. Alright, so now we have our kind of lopsided Frankenstein bunny.
Happy Easter, everybody. Happy, happy fun time. Happy, happy fun time. Mwah! Make me some brothers and sisters.